Is this the second time or the third time I've gone live today? Well, you know what they say. When the sun comes up, the rooster crows. And guess what? Sun's up. Guys, let's get into this very quickly. What do you guys think of my tie? Tell me. Tell me if the tie works. Tell me in the comments if this tie works. You know what I'm thinking of doing, because I don't really like suits. You know what I'm thinking of doing, and tell me if this is something that you think would be workable. Instead of me sitting in front of this camera with this reflector, because later on today I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to walk through the markets and I'm going to ask the average Zambian citizen, impromptu, what they think about this judgment. And I need this reflector as I go downstairs. But I notice that sometimes when I sit here in a shirt and tie with the, it throws people off because they're not sure who I am. You know, I've had many people inbox me and say, what is that thing that you wear? Well, the reason I wear it is because by virtue of my location here at Simoson Building, aside from the work that I do here at Simoson, I'm also a vlogger. I videotape people on the street. And I cross the road, I cross the street, and I want to be visible. And the truth story behind that is about 5 years ago, before I started wearing reflectors, a bus driver almost hit me. And he yelled out the window, he said, "Wear a reflector so that we see you." And from that day on, I've always had one. Now, the reason I don't take it off is because it's part of who I am. If I feel the unction, if I feel the propensity, if I feel the proclivity, there's a word for you. All I have to do is just grab my gimbal, okay? I grab my little DJI, I connect my phone on there, and then I go downstairs and I start vlogging. You know, it's a whole lot better than having to sit here, deciding to go downstairs, and then going through the hassle of looking for my reflection. Who needs that aggravation? I certainly don't. I'll tell you right now. Guys, do me a favor. If you could share this live with people that you think would be interested in this conversation, I would be immensely grateful. Well, the verdict's in, and just like we felt, and again, it wasn't a prophecy, it wasn't a prediction, it was simply an opinion based on observation. My sincere observation was it didn't seem logical that the South African court would rule in the favor of the family, because they were dealing with a unique case of a person who had served as head of state, and a precedent had been set. Who set the precedent? Tell me in the comments. Who set that precedent? Was it Eisenhower? Was it Julius Malema? Was it Cyril Ramaphosa? Was it Adolf Hitler? Was it Gaddafi? Was it Pol Pot? Was it Genghis Khan? Was it Christopher Kangombe? It was the PF that set the precedent themselves. They set in motion a series of events that has led to this conclusion. When PF insisted, Kuti, how did Emmanuel Mwamba put it? He said that, I'll tell you here in a moment. What did he say? I'll get it. I'll get it here in a moment. But if you know it before I do, please tell me in the comments. Emmanuel Mwamba said, well, Given famously said, the KK family can stay away if they want. If they want to stay away, that is up to them. That is their Waterloo. We are going to follow procedure as it is prescribed by the way we do things here in this country. A former late head of state must be buried at Embassy Park there. They set the precedent. You know, so it stands to reason that the South African court would rule accordingly. Let us not lose sight of that. Now, there are a couple of things I want to highlight here. In the wake, you know that phrase, in the wake, after the verdict, after the judgment, the South African court have ordered, they have ordered that EcL's remains be handed over to the government. Why? So that the government now can start the process of meting out a state funeral. Not for any other reason. A state funeral. It's not to give the body to the government for some type of sicko ritual as suggested by EcL's older sister. And I want to address that because there are lots of things that she said in her reaction to the judgment that we must take a closer look at. And it's very telling. First of all, let us not gloss over her reaction and say, no, what's the Zambian saying? Umuntu lelosha ngare sabaira. Don't pay attention to what she's saying. Someone who has lost a loved one, when they say horrible things at the funeral, don't pay any attention to those horrible things. They are just grieving. It's their way of venting. That is not an excuse for what that lady was saying in the court today. Let us examine what she was saying. Number one, the most critical question the Zambian people have to ask: what is the purpose of government insisting that Edgar Lungu be accorded a state funeral? What's the purpose? Well, because that is how we do it here in Zambia, number one. Number two, the precedent has already been set. That is how we lay to rest our former late heads of state. That is how we do it. We are not going to make an exception when it comes to Edgar Lungu. No, we won't. Anyone who tells you that Edgar Lungu was unique, stood in the solitude of himself, is different from all these other presidents, is lying to you, is misleading you. There is nothing intrinsically different about Edgar Lungu. However, the similarity between him is Bachiluba, Bamwanawasa, Basata, the similarity, the common thread that runs through each one of these presidential figures is that they served as president. That's the common thread. But when you start acting as though there's something unique, something outstanding, something distinct about EcL that cannot be treated in the same way that we have treated these other heads of state, then you're being misled. The spirit of Lily Mutambo grabbed by EcL's older sister. The spirit of Lily Lunatic Mutambo left London, entered the heart of Valungu's sister, and she began to insult and say the most unpalatable words that you have ever heard. Number one, she referred to the Attorney General as the son of a dog. What insolence is that? For what? The Attorney General went on a mission to retrieve the body of a former head of state in an effort to provide a funeral befitting of a former late head of state. That was the goal. It was not to disparage the head of state, the former head of state. It was not to go and destroy the head of state's body. No. That was the only goal. the only mission. So, when EcL's older sister referred to the Attorney General as the son of a dog, for who? For what for? I mean, for why? Insolence. She's been watching that lady lunatic Butambo. That's the reason that spirit, that demonic Jezebel spirit, grabbed a hold of her, got possessed in her heart. She doesn't even know what the hell she was saying. To call him a son of a dog? Further than that, Walungu's older sister said, "Who did your mother sleep with?" Insolence. I mean, I don't know. Bantu inefyo ifwe futwakula ifwe imisalula. When it comes to insulting people, insele. First of all, I don't understand how umuntu atuka nensele kumuntu umbi. That one it doesn't compute. But in a setting like that, in a courthouse, kuria te kuchiboria kuria, te kuchawama, te kwa kanyama iyo. Kuria bele kuria te banda masau koroma shungo. That, my brothers and sisters, is Gauteng. Gauteng Zanzi, land of the Amazulus. You don't go there in the court and you start making a spectacle out of yourself and you think the Zambian people are going to be sympathetic. They are not. In fact, dare I tell you, dare I say, upon hearing that the South African court there in Gauteng delivered judgment in favor of this administration, I can tell you here, Zambian people are relieved. They are happy. They are pleased to know that a man that served as president, who passed away, unfortunately, passed away, is now coming back to the homeland, is coming back to Zambia, LSK, and is going to be put to rest in the warm soil of the land that which he came from. That is it. I mean, this is there. But what I'm telling you now is the correct analysis of this situation as it stands. And if you don't look at it in that way, you're going to be misled. Don't allow these despots, these vagabonds, these bottom feeders, Emmanuel Mwamba, Raphael Hajaka Nakachinda, Given Luwinda, the dredge of political society, don't allow them to inject and poison your minds with anything that misleads you and points you in the wrong direction. What is going to happen now is that we're going to see. We are going to now experience closure as a country. Because understand this, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, comrades and colleagues. Understand that as long as EcL is not buried, as long as he's not laid to rest, this was the plan that the family had in conjunction with that conduit, Makebi Zulu. The plan they had was to put the country in a perpetual, non-stop state of political uncomfortability, knowing that the longer we keep EcL unburied, the more uncomfortable it becomes for the Zambian people in terms of moving on, moving forward. No pun intended, but that's the only word that came to my mind. Because in burial, there is closure. In body viewing, there is a sense of accepting the situation as it is. Anyone that has lost a loved one knows. We have all been affected or infected with death. Every one of us owes a death. Every one of us. One of these days, we're all going to check out. One of these days, we're going to come to the last breath of our existence. And then we're going to cross over to the other side. And we're going to sing by and by when the morning comes. All the saints of God are gathered home. Remember that song? We will tell the story how we overcame. We'll understand it better by and by. By and by, when that morning comes, all the saints, God gathered home, we will tell the story how we overcame. We'll understand it better by and by. We're all going to that beautiful shore when this corruptible puts on incorruptible. Every one of us owes a death. We do. Edgar Lungu owed a death. He's passed away but won't ever be forgotten. I thank God that now if I want to reminisce and remember EcL, I don't have to get on a plane to go to South Africa. Ku Amazulu. Kumzanzi. I don't have to do that. All I have to do is just go to Embassy Park. It's 15 minutes from here. I get in my car, go to Embassy Park, I sit under a tree. I remember the times that I met EcL, and there were many, many times I met him. I can do that now. Rather than subjecting myself to a trip to South Africa and now looking for EcL's burial place because the family wanted to shroud it, cover it, camouflage it. No, you can't come to the burial. You can't come to the body viewing. Only the family can do that. No. That is wrong. It is disingenuous. It is unacceptable. When the country, when I say we, I'm talking about the country. When the country lays EcL to rest, this part of grieving will be conquered. Because all of us are grieving. This portion of grief will be vanquished because we followed the steps. Do you understand that? Is that gelling with you? Okay? Is that making sense? You need to let that marinate in your spirit. You need to let that bubble in your oblongata. You need to let that sizzle in your soul. Now, lastly, let me make this point very, very clear. Because, I know some of you, I read the comments, There's a guy that said to me, it means you're happy, you are celebrating. Let me tell you what I'm happy about. Is that this administration, through the Attorney General, insisted that we follow protocol. Protocol that has already been laid down. Protocol that is not new to the Zambian existence. Protocol that has already been tread on. That's it. There's nothing beyond that. And when the body arrives, because now the body is in the hands of the state, rightly so, there will be a state funeral. There will be no commotion, because some people are saying no, because I heard someone say not too long ago, no, it's too minga chaisa tukapanga chongo. Anyone who says that, those are PF chaps. Those are PF who have bairat. It means two things. Number one, they're not patriots. They don't love this country. Number one. Number two, nababaira. Nabakolwa, nibachakolwa, bekala kujuntawad. Banwafye kachaso from 6 to 6. Abalandejo. But when you hear a Zambian say, thank God, the body of our former president is coming home where it belongs. Thank God that we're going to accord him a funeral, a state funeral that is befitting of a former head of state. Thank God. When you hear someone talk like that, that's a patriot. That's someone that loves this nation. All right. Thought I'd share that with you guys. I'm going to have some lunch. All right. Appreciate you guys listening. Human smuggling ring busted. Immigration Department detains 7, recovers 372 passports in crackdown. My goodness. What's the world coming to? Right. Okay. Well, hey guys, I gotta go. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys so much. UPND romps home. Did you guys hear that in Fue, that election in Fue, the UPND won that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I heard that on the wireless earlier. Mental patient batters granny, 76 to death. My goodness. The world's gone mad. Gone absolutely mad. Right. Bank of Zambia Kansanshi renewed gold deal. Not sure about that. Well, hey guys, thanks for watching. I gotta go. Bye. I'm gonna let you this, Shima.